All right, GBA Nation, we are back once again for another edition of the GBA Show Live, and look who's back tonight. My main man, Tom Strasser's on here with me.
Oh, it is great to be back on GBA TV.
Absolutely. We missed you last night, but we understand, you got to take care of work when work comes up. So not a problem. We're also going to be joined by Jeff Ferguson, owner of GBA. He'll be joining us here as well. Just to follow up, we're excited. Last night we had a great show with Coach Jessie Carmack from down at Christian Brothers University. She's been a longtime GBAer. And tonight we are back with another special guest, really longtime GBAer. Really, he's been Coach Llanas has been around since we started this whole thing. So he's played in it. He's recruited in it. He's been around for a long time, and he does a great job with everywhere he goes. And we're happy to call him a friend. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and get Jeff on here. Jeff, can you hear us?
All good. We're ready to roll. Nice to see you, Tommy.
Hey, nice to be back, my friend.
Hey, Tommy, if you could tell, Jeff relocated on us today. He looks.
You don't know where I'm going to be, Tom. You got to keep moving, man. You can't just stay still in this game. You get passed by.
All right, guys. Well, I just introduced Mike, and we're looking forward to talking to him tonight and see how things are going with him. So, with that being said, let's get this show started. And welcome back, GBA Nation. Another edition of GBA Show Live. Guys, can everyone hear me? Coach Mike, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Living the dream here in southeastern Ohio. How's Wheeling?
Great. We've got our sanitizer going and social distancing and following all the rules and regulations and can't wait to get back out.
Absolutely.
One of our loyal fans there. Damon's always on there.
Yep. Damon.
Okay. That's good. Sanitizer is a good thing this time.
So, Mike, with that being said, let's just, how's everything going? With you and your family, everybody staying healthy, safe down in Wheeling?
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed. My kids are doing well. My wife is a essential worker, and Kelly, who's I think fed you guys a time or two during these GBA events. She continues to work, and I've been blessed with being able to work from home. And but let me tell you something. God bless these teachers, because my patience is about done with these kids of mine. I tell you what, God bless these teachers. They've done a great job, and all the news clips with all the inventive things that these teachers have done. Today we did a project on evaporation, and I could barely pronounce that about 4 hours ago. I'm learning a little along the way, but the kids are testing me, but we're doing well.
Good. Glad to hear. I know Tommy's got some of those, stories from being a teacher himself.
Hey, being a teacher, I appreciate the props. But Mike, you were talking about your family. We've had the privilege to meet your family working GBA tournaments. But for the folks out there who are not familiar with your family, why don't you give them a plug and let them know your wife and your kids, their ages, and so forth?
Well, of course, it starts with the boss, Kelly Llanas, and she continues to support what I do and what I love to do, and that's coaching basketball, and a lot of this started in the GBA tournaments when you recruited elementary, junior high, high school kids, and puts a team together. Maybe got a sponsorship. We were grassroots, so for the most part, we were, parents paid for uniforms and tournaments, and we got it going. But my wife networked with the parents in the stands. The mothers got together and put little care baskets for the kids after the games, and planned meals and made hotel reservations. So my wife has been my rock through all this. For all of you guys who have spouses and partners, you need that support, and she's always been there for me. And then of course my kids have during the GBA events, and Tom knows this, my daughter, she's 14 now. Back then she would have been about 4 or 5 years old, and we told her she could help out in the concession stand, and about an hour later she was running the concession stand. So she started running things then, and she's trying to run my house now. So but we have a lot of fond memories of working GBA events and coordinating with you guys. It's a family affair, and obviously, you guys are a family, and you guys are, at 3 or 4 locations on any given weekend, and, have your phones out and your walkie talkies and all that. So, it's, from my family to yours. I mean, we appreciate the fellowship that we've had all these years.
Yeah, it's been a great run, and I guess let's maybe get into that. We didn't meet you in Wheeling, and we didn't meet you at Owens. Let's go back to the start, when you was coaching junior high, or for all of our listeners out there, kind of give us your story, and let's start from the beginning and kind of how you progressed, from coaching junior high or high school onto at Owens. I think I said yesterday a national champion, but runner up. It's close enough. It's pretty good. You guys was always in the hunt every year there, and then your progression to Wheeling. Kind of fill us in a little bit. Take us on the journey and tell us how it happened.
Well, it's always been about the love of the game. I mean, when you started, you gotta love people. You gotta love networking, and you've got to be able to endure the highs and lows, and sometimes when you're getting started, you pray that quarter tank in your gas tank will get you from Toledo to Akron. And you're driving 20 miles an hour on the turnpike. But I believe the very first GBA tournament that we played in was in Akron. Being that I'm from Northwest Ohio, originally from Bowling Green, primarily recruited Northwest Ohio kids. We had kids that were multiple sport athletes. Obviously in the springtime, you've got track and softball. So we had a lot of athletes that had, that wanted to get better, that wanted to play, but didn't have the time to drive to some of these, to the Louisvilles and Nashvilles and Atlantas. So the GBA circuit was instrumental to allowing them a platform and an opportunity for me to coach and those kids to play. You guys have always done a good job of planting seeds in areas, and especially back then. I'm looking at the screen, and the forehead's a little shinier than it was back then. But you know what? There's a glare coming from you three.
That's right.
Because back in the day, I still had a cassette tape and we listened to it all the way to Akron. But when we got to Akron, playing those area teams was great. That talent as we tournaments like you had in Olentangy, which you continue to have, Ohio Northern, tournaments in Findlay. You guys have great relationships with the University of Findlay. That was huge for us. We were able to economically get from place to place. These kids were still able to play sport, play their spring sports, and get better.
Yeah, I talked to you. I think I talked to you a little bit earlier about. I remember the Rockers. They was a good group, and like you said, it was between the players and the team, all the way into the fans and the parents. Like they were rocking. They were ready to go.
Yeah, we had some crazy parents, and we had fun with that whole Rockers thing. I tried to grow a mullet, and get the rock thing going. But one of our kids had a wig on, and we had fun with it. And I continue to have bonds with the players. All those players are teachers, and they're starting to have kids. And it's funny when they put a picture of their newborn daughter, and they'll put some film on, and I'll chime in and ask them for game film. So that might be a recruiting violation, but I'm just proud of who they've become. They're all doing very well, and a lot of it had to do with having the opportunity to play basketball, juggle basketball with their other sports, being respectful and working with their parents, for these parents to do what they did back then was, very important. And, not everybody listening is going to, be a college basketball player. Not everybody's going to be a coach, but, being involved in outfits like GBA, give us parents and coaches, a platform to just make each other better. And it's great fellowship.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the mullet. With the barbershop still closed, any chance it comes back this year?
Boy, I tell you what, we've had some Zoom meetings here in Wheeling, and I tell you, I've seen some mustaches, I've seen some mullets, I've seen some beards, and I tell you what, it's scary, but there might be some new fashion trends coming out of this, and I hate to say it, guys, but some of this stuff's coming back.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's bad that we're old enough to remember it, though. That's the bad thing. We started this 20 years ago. We were young, and well,
I'll tell you, and you guys, of course, there were tournaments we went to and we lost, and the trip back to the trips, back from Columbus, so those were hard. But we would, if I was in with a parent, we talked the whole time back about why we lost, what we could have done better, and playing in a hot gym wasn't an excuse. Not getting enough sleep wasn't an excuse. But us, the parents and myself, we were all on the same page, and it was a learning experience. So I'm blessed with the fact I've won some basketball games and won some championships, but it's got to start somewhere, and you got to take your lumps. So I certainly have done that. In organizations like yours, to get my wings, because it's not going to get handed to you, and you're going to have some, as aspiring coaches out there, you're going to have those rough patches. You're going to have those parents. You're going to have those kids. You're going to have a parent that says they're going to show up and they don't. You're going to have a parents that show up with a kid and the kid doesn't want to play. And you got to learn how to deal with that adversity. And so, So, it's not always rosy, but, we, as coaches, we need to be able to, to deal with that, with whatever adversity comes our way. And, I've been able to do this, for a long time and, be able to learn not only from, the successes that I've had, but the failures.
Sure, we all grow from that and learn that sometimes that's it takes that before we move forward. And talking about moving forward, how do we transition from the Ohio Rockers and the Mullet to Owens?
Well, actually, we got so good that, we were doing so well and started to build rapport with college coaches and the college coaches started to ask me, hey, have you ever thought about getting into college coaching? And no, I guess I thought I was going to coach travel ball for the rest of my life. And after, the first one, that was a compliment. And I was very thankful for that. But, a second, a third, a fourth, more and more started talking to me about college coaching. And so an opportunity came up at Owens, building relationships again with these college coaches. They were my references and they saw, how hard we worked. We would work we'd be in the GBA circuits and then jump into, a Blue Star tournament or go to Chicago and started to spread our wings out and be successful and beat some really, really good teams. And so, that gave me an opportunity to get the job at Owens and to start building that program. So, 14 years there, never had a losing season, but definitely had some adversity there. At one time, they were definitely looking for us to make the next step. And me as a coach, I was challenged to do that. So, we got it done. We became a national, a national power. And, I have, places like the GBA to thank for that, for, to be able to build into that. But again, it's, you got to start somewhere. And, I'm blessed with having some people that took notice of the work that I was doing, and, be in my court, to vouch for me. And I'm seeing that in coaches, we're watching, we as coaches, in this region, when we go to a recruiting event, we're watching the coaches and we're watching the parents, as Coach talked about yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
And we're, obviously we're watching the kids. So you never know when there's an opportunity to hire a GA or your next assistant coach. All of us have relationships with the high schools we went to. Tom, I don't know if yours still exists or not, but a lot of people are looking for quality coaches, people that that are willing to work hard, that not only know the X's and O's, but know how to relate to people, know how to talk to people, know how to do something like this, and I think a lot of us are learning, how to get on, using Zoom and Hangouts and whatnot, and getting better at this. I think our kids are having to get better. They're still on screen, but they're actually having to interact and look, and actually have a conversation over the screen instead of, doing this. So we're paying attention to everything. And I'm thankful that, people took notice of me and, yeah, I mean, just keep doing what you guys are doing. And there are a lot of people from the players, to these coaches, and a lot of them are just getting started, just graduated from college, that have a platform, to start a team and try to build something.
Well, I think you took, yeah. I mean, I think we got to know you. I mean, you was recruiting every weekend. It was between you and Mark who we seen the most from Ohio Northern. Now, Mark, we turned the corner. We was betting who we see first, because you was on the trail and you did what it took. I mean, you went out and there's not a player that you didn't see. I mean, you went out and recruited, and that's why you was successful there, I think.
And I think you shorted yourself there, Mike, because 14 seasons, 351 wins, 103 losses, 77% winning percentage is pretty good. Along with, I believe I read you had 8 conference titles, 4 tournament appearances, an Elite 8, a Final 4, and a national runner-up. So, the hard work definitely paid off there. So don't sell yourself short, in what you did there at Owens.
Well, thanks. And I have a lot of people to thank for that. Coach Stephen Perry, who you guys continue to work with over at Owens, was a national runner-up last year, and, is working with several, entities to give an opportunity for those Northwest Ohio, Southeastern Michigan players an opportunity to play. It's very important, for us to, we definitely back then wanted you guys to come in, because we wanted not only to play, to have opportunity to play, but hopefully draw some variety, some different teams. And, we were always willing to travel. When I was coaching, we were always willing to travel. But there was really not that, there wasn't, there weren't very many tournaments up in that Northwest Ohio, especially that Toledo area. So, begging you guys to come up, was important. It was important to us to have you guys there, and that is now given gave us back then the confidence to talk to some other people, and so Steve continues to build on that tradition, and he's built a lot of great relationships, and they're very, I think they're very happy with being able to have kids in there and playing the game they love.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, that was a hidden gem there at Owens. And I mean, you didn't win by luck. I mean, you won because you outworked a lot of people, and you outworked a lot of coaches, and every gym you was there. Every time we ran something or was somewhere else, we'd always see you. And then running the tournament that you didn't have to do, but I mean, you would run the events there. You're like I said, you're in the concession stand. You're doing whatever it took, to build that program. And,
well, yeah, I do want to say that it for again these coaches out there, and Jeff, thanks for reminding me about that. We were running the tournament, and as junior college coaches, we were able to coach. So we were making the popcorn, and then, oh, wait a minute, I got a game to coach. So we went and coached it, and then turn around and, oh, we need ice now, so we got to go get ice. Oh, we ran out of hot dog buns. Run to Walmart, pick up some hot dog buns, and then come back in time to coach another game. And so that was, I loved it. I mean, it was great, and just the thrill of running to the grocery store and having to pick up supplies and come back and then go get a game. It was exhilarating, and those are times that your focus and that just that desire to coach, and to put on a tournament. is, are things that, these aspiring coaches, I mean, those are things you're going to have to do. And things aren't perfect. I think there was a time in one of the tournaments, one of the concession stand needed some ice. So we were hauling ice, rolling ice to the concession stand, and there was one piece of ice on the floor, and that wheel hit that ice, and it went from one piece of ice to 10,000 pieces of ice. So there, of course, you're embarrassed, and you're cleaning up. And wait a minute, aren't you the guy that coaches that team? And so we'll never forget that. That was like a moment that Coach Perry and I still talk about. Remember that time we dropped that ice, and it's going all over the place. So, and you guys have been great too. I mean, we've had times where we've had to call you at the last minute because the venue. The venue had an event going on. So, Jeff, I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in those Owens days, they had scheduled a color run.
I do remember that. Yeah.
During the tournament. So, we worked with the great folks over at Rossford High School to get a couple of the games switched over there. And the parents had to park across a 4-lane road to park, and then walk to the venue. It was about half a mile to walk. So we got some golf carts, and we were trucking parents back and forth, and they loved it. And you guys were great. And we thought we lost you, and you guys were accommodating to us, but Tom, my oldest son, I think he was 16 at the time, and he wanted to drive the golf cart, and I told him, yes, I will let you drive the golf cart, just do not drive through the color run die. You probably guess what happened about 30 minutes later, and those GBA kids loved every minute of it. He pulled up, and there was a cloud of smoke behind him, and the colors were multicolored. The tires were multicolored. So, oh boy. But lots of fun times with you guys, and keep doing what you're doing. I think this is this is great. And I think some other folks are catching on and are starting to do what you guys are doing here. And again, lots of fond memories, from, sometimes these tournaments run like clockwork. Sometimes they don't. And, to be able to handle that and be able to deal with that adversity as a staff, and to be able to learn it as a young aspiring coach back then was priceless.
Yes. And talking about adversity, just real quick on that, Tommy, for the most part, would come up there and handle that event. And I believe every year that was the year Tommy would be in Washington, D.C. the week before, or that week. And then he would take off, get back, drive, till 3 a.m. or whatever to get up to Toledo, and then sleep for an hour or two, and then go run the event there.
Well, let's face it, his wife was running the tournament. His wife, she's backstage. She's in that house somewhere.
Yeah.
He was running the tournament. She'll probably show up on the screen here shortly, but no. But
now the truth comes out.
Yeah, they both were. They both made the drive, and that's what you do. That's what you do, and the game is. It's a tough game, obviously at this level. Talking to any coach in any of these Division I, Division III. Obviously, we're at the Division II level. It's a grind for everyone. And we're dealing with a lot of adversity, and a lot of us, have had the opportunity, at different levels to be able to groom and to be able to handle, adversity. And I've certainly had that opportunity. I'm very blessed, with the support structure I have. I have a loving wife who, deals with my mood swings. God bless her. Win, lose, or draw. She's a backbone of what happens and what's happened with my career. So, she's been there, and luckily at Owens, we had some AC. There were some times when they didn't turn the AC on, and we got with it. We handled it.
Yeah, and speaking of 4-hour drives, maybe 5 hours, I don't know, from Toledo to Wheeling, West Virginia. Okay, you could have easily probably stayed there. What made you take the 4 or 5 hour drive and head to Wheeling?
Well, this is a faith-based university, and it's a Catholic university, and as a person of faith, it's very important to me to have my family around, an organization like that, so it's it's nice to be here. We've certainly are enjoying our time, and staff here continues to work hard, and we're all very excited to get back to what a new normal will be. And a new normal will be an exciting normal, and us in Wheeling, everyone in our conference, and the NCAA as a whole is, we're not going to speculate on what's going to happen. We have some very good people, up at the top that are, making the decisions for us. And so, we have people, in positions that, have healthcare workers in their families, have educators, have family members that work at restaurants, have family members that are laid off. So, don't think for a minute that, these folks aren't wanting to get back, get back to business. But I think even today, guys, you've seen in the news that, there's some, businesses are going to start opening up, and I think we all will hear in a short time here what we'll need to do and what you guys will need to do, to get the basketballs back out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're working on that now as well, and trying to get some our staff and the facilities and all that stuff ready to go. So hopefully we'll be able to do something, but at this point we don't know. But I know we was excited when I think you might have even been there when we've hosted tournaments at Wheeling, Wheeling Jesuit, Wheeling University, and we was excited to see, and I think you was coming, you maybe even come through there or something, but I don't think you could, you could say what you was doing there or whatever, but at that time. But yeah, so we was excited. That's only 45 minutes to an hour drive for us, being in Cambridge, Ohio. So we was excited for you and glad you was, you got the job there, and you're a lot closer for us, and hopefully we can continue to work with you and get back. And I know last year we didn't, with the courts being resurfaced, we didn't get in there, but we're hoping to get our relationship back together and bring some teams into Wheeling to play. And with the other new facility as well being built, we could take a lot more teams and do a big event there. So we're excited. The campus is beautiful there. The main gym there is beautiful. So we're happy and excited for you.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously Wheeling's a hop, skip, and a jump from Ohio, and I know we pride ourselves in having some homegrown talent. Obviously, one of the kids on our team is from your neck of the woods, Jeff, in Lily Ritz, and
yeah,
we we won't talk about what her dad did to you in a basketball game.
Hey, that's okay. We have time, Mike, if you want to share that story.
I had to give Mr. Ritz a shout out there.
Mhm.
But I know you know of Lily and their family, and Lily had a phenomenal season this year. Earned an All-American accolade, and tied the national record for most rebounds in a game with 36. And we're very proud of her, and we're really excited for the current players that we have, and as we move forward, and these kids work hard in the classroom, and Division II, with all of our brothers and sisters in Division II are all about life balance, here we're about life leadership and serving others. So Lily is getting a great education, and I'm going to give a shout out to all the universities in this area. I mean, we're not going to spare any expense to we're going to ensure that these kids are safe and are continue to get a quality education as they do here in Wheeling. So everybody in higher education is working very hard to ensure that to ensure that these kids are getting consistent quality education.
Yeah, that's great. And speaking of that, yeah, that was 36 rebounds in one game. And how many points did she have that game?
I don't know, to be honest with you. It was I'm still speechless on that, on the 36. I think she may have had 20 in that game. I mean, she did average 19 points a game this year. So, a rising junior, I look forward to having you guys, come out and watch a game over here in Wheeling.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. And speaking of just Lily, tell us a little bit about your roster that you have.
Well, we've got Alyssa Edwards Frick, who's from Tri-Valley, right over in your neck of the woods. We have a kid that can also, as a golfer, Emily Hotzefeld, who can hit the ball 270 off the tee.
Ugh.
So I know that it looks like there's you guys need a foursome, and she might be able to help you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be really, really excited to have you guys have me back on when things get going, so we can talk a little bit more about rosters. But from North Canton, Hoover to Ravenna, Ohio, to the Pittsburgh area, our roster, our kids are they have a great opportunity to get better and make a mark on the program. So those are a couple of the kids over in your neck of the woods. But yeah, I mean, they have a great person to build around, and we're hoping that they can come in and knock some shots down and continue to build on the success we've had.
Well, hey, Mike, first of all, just a couple of things. First of all, with Lily Ritz, I'm glad you brought her up, because I'm partly responsible for the scholarship she got. I'm one of the many coaches she pounded on during her high school career. So
yeah,
we helped her stuff her stats against us. Just a great player, but a better kid. And be sure to tell her I said hi. But Mike, before we get too far into this, I wanted to kind of piggyback off the question Jeff asked you on the move to Wheeling, because as I mentioned, I was blessed to be high school coach, varsity coach at 2 different schools. You know, a true blessing, but they were in the same county. So regardless which school I was coaching at, I was still going to the same job and still coming to the same house. Mm-hmm. Now, you go back to Owens, you're there 14 years. You have really built, a power. Mm-hmm. You know, at the JUCO level, you're happy, great place to raise your kids. Your family's happy, beautiful campus, a lot of friendships because, we know the people up there. Then when you have a chance to not only move, but move to another state, a lot of people don't realize, that kind of, you talk about having faith. It's not pulling you up. It's taking the family and the kids away from where they grew up. What was that like? Was there many sleepless nights? Were they gung-ho or?
I think there's more sleepless nights with my wife and I. I mean, not the job, but just, the transitions. I mean, again, to everyone that's an aspiring coach, to get a job is one thing, but all the, the moving and uprooting of children and new schools, utilities, rent, if it's rent, insurance, phone numbers, the list goes on, and not every system is when you're used to living in an area, sometimes it's easy as clicking a couple buttons on the phone and your service is on, and sometimes it's not. So again, my support structure, my wife, and she's in our house, she runs it, and she was in the background making those phone calls, building those relationships, and pushing. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes you can't be, moms can't be nice sometimes when we want something, or whoever runs your house. So, and then, Tom, I mean, you're in a familiar area, and when you're used to going to the gas station and knowing those folks, and you go to a gas station and nobody knows who you are, that is a challenge. So what has to kick in are all the things that you learned, all those things that you learned going to those gyms back in GBA days, back when Jeff still was rolling with the 8-track tape when he could have had cassette. All those times, we're building relationships with neighbors. Not everybody's going to come to you. I mean, just because I have a logo and a Nike logo on my jacket doesn't mean that, people are going to be in awe of me. I mean, you have to approach and be approachable. And, those things definitely were the case, here in the Valley. But, this is a great sports area. They love sports. They, people want to get to know you, and that is, and that helps. But when you're talking to the electric company, they don't know who Mike Llanas is. When you're talking to the water company, they don't know who Mike Llanas is. So there's a lot of, things that go into a move, and, and you have to be able to deal with that. You just don't pack your bags and, drive 4 hours and, you're able to grab a whistle and start coaching. So, and so that's where that adversity comes in, and, having to, be a 19-year-old and recruit 12 kids from 8 different schools, get their phone numbers, talk to their parents, talk about money, how much it costs to play, collect the money, make sure you collect all the money. Some parents aren't going to give you the money, or some parents are going to say they're going to give you the money and it never happens, having to approach them, like you're a bill collector at 19 years old. Those are things that you need to go through. Because it's not as easy as, you were a great player in college and people, you're going to put a team together at, 22 years old, and people are going to hand you a check and drive wherever you want, because you're going to have those games where you only have 7 kids. Well, I'm Mike Llanas, say we should have all 12 every game. No, it don't work that way. You've got parents that have jobs. They have 3 or 4 kids in their family. Johnny's got soccer. Susie's got a recital, and then we got a family reunion, and you got to remember all that. So, those are the things that help me along the way and help me do the job that I'm doing now. It's not easy as just because I played basketball, I'm all of a sudden going to be a great coach or a good coach or just an okay coach. You got to be able to deal with adversity on the floor, off the floor, and then in your own personal life. And we've certainly had our trials and tribulations, and our faith stands tried and true. And if I can't remember a Bible verse, I guarantee you my wife will, and she'll throw something at me, and it'll resonate. So it's been a great journey, and it shows a lot of character on your guys' part to not only know who I am, but also to pay attention to the popcorn makers that are 5 years old and a 16-year-old that's rolling in die in a golf cart. I mean, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate all the support that you've given us all the years, and what a great story and message, just kind of listening to your from your start to where you are now, for all of our GBA coaches out there listening. We deal with a lot of coaches, young, all different ages, that are just getting into coaching, that coach high school, that do whatever, that have aspirations maybe to move on. And you're a perfect example of that hard work and a dream that you had that you were able to reach it.
Well, yeah. And then, in coaching girls basketball, you guys have been dedicated, to girls basketball for so long. And, I've always been a girls basketball coach. It's funny, back in 1984, I wanted to use the car to go out with my friends. And my mom said, you can borrow the car, but you have to go to your sister's basketball game. And I said, oh my, okay. Where is she playing? Well, she's playing at Macaulay High School, which is closed now, in Toledo. I had never been to a girls' basketball game, and I was a varsity basketball player. And so in order to borrow the Gremlin that night, I had to go to an 8 o'clock in the morning basketball game. Well, I went to that game and I told my mom, that coach is terrible. I mean, they've got some talent, but they're terrible. And she turned to me and said, well, why don't you ask her if you could help? I go, well, I don't have time for that. I mean, I'm playing varsity basketball. I don't have time for that. She's like, well, just ask. So after the game, I went down and I asked her, hey, my sister is Sarah, and hey, I was just checking to see if you wanted any help. Sure, you can help. As a matter of fact, you can take the team over and I'll just organize the rides to the games. So my mom, I saw we got back into the Gremlin with my sister, and she goes, "Well, so how'd it go?" Well, I guess I'm the new coach for the kid for this 8th grade basketball team. My sister had a fit. I was the first practice. I had no idea what I was doing, but after about 5 minutes, I was in love with it. And that was 35 years ago. So, it's funny how things start, and it's a blessing, that mom made me go to a CYO game and watch my sister play. My sisters still are they're proud that I was their coach, and we were your first team, and I have 2 sisters and was able to coach both of them. And, so it started, back then in 1984, 85, coaching CYO basketball, and, and grew from there. So, from driving the Gremlin, I got to drive the Gremlin that night, by the way. Man, it was baby blue, baby. Baby blue.
And you had a mullet, I'm sure.
AM radio. I had the fro going on back then.
Unbelievable. What a great story. Hey, Mike, we definitely appreciate you taking time out and talking to us, and we'd love to have you back on once we get through all of this, and maybe see what happens this summer. And we'd love to bring GBA back to Wheeling and talk about that for 2021. And we're getting things set up now for that. So we appreciate all the support over the years. We couldn't be happier, and I'm sure you're going to be very successful in Wheeling and build another dynasty there. So,
well,
absolutely.
Hey, thanks a lot, and guys, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to watching, to watching things open up. I know, everyone's waiting with bated breath to get out and to socialize and to play the game that they love. And, but obviously we know we're going to have to be responsible. I know the coaches, all the coaches in America can't wait to get back out. But we'll have to do things different, but that's okay. This is a speed bump that we all are going over, and we need to have faith and work together, and we'll get through this.
Absolutely. Yep. And Michael, just to go piggyback off of Jeff there, we truly do appreciate all the support over the years, and I've enjoyed, like I said, I've known you since being a coach on the sideline, and now at Owens, and then obviously at Wheeling. So we appreciate all that support and your friendship over the years.
Well, hey, not a problem, guys, and thanks for having me on, and have me anytime. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And thanks for letting us know about our staff, and I'll be addressing that with Tom here.
Where's that line? You should have wrote the check to her only. And then
before I've been told.
I tell you, Jeff, we had a karaoke machine. I don't know if you guys at Owens, we had a karaoke machine. We had to get rid of that because you guys were so bad at it. You guys, I think we had to unplug the thing. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, and they tried. I mean, God bless them. They tried, but these guys they can blow the whistle. They can make a tournament chart, but they can't. They got no rhythm.
I see what you're talking about. I definitely see that.
It's definitely well noted, Mike.
For all those schools, if you guys have a rec area with a karaoke machine, unplug it.
Well, Mike, thanks again for taking the time to join us tonight. And, we appreciate all the support, and we wish you and the family, safe and healthy. And then, hopefully we get back on the court very soon, and you get things rolling down there.
Well, as we always say in Wheeling, let your light shine, guys.
Okay.
Absolutely. Take care, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. What a great interview there with Coach Mike Llanas from Wheeling University. We've known Mike for a long time, and to hear his story, from where he started, and coaching, and to where he's at now. What a great inspiration for all of our GBA guys out there, listening, and that joined us on the live stream, and also, that will be watching this, later on.
Yeah, Mike is truly one of the good guys, and he truly is. And we have a great relationship with him, and honestly, we hope he wins every game. So he puts his heart and soul into it for the kids in the program, and what he does. And I'm sure he's going to be successful wherever he goes. So he's going to, he'll definitely build a dynasty there as well. So,
and guys, you two did a great job with your questions, trying to get him to open up. He's so shy. I wish he would be a little bit more talkative.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job. Trying to get him to open up and come out of his comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll be back next week. Maybe even through the weekend. We'll have a surprise guest coming up either over the weekend or next week one day, telling his story, and it's a good one. And we're setting up other interviews as well. So,
yep, absolutely. Thanks for everybody joining us tonight, and thanks again for Coach Michael Llanas from Wheeling University. If you're not familiar with Wheeling University, what a beautiful campus there in Wheeling, West Virginia. So make sure you check that out. He's going to do great down there. So take care. God bless. And we'll see everybody very soon.